Survey says. All right, welcome back, folks. Another week on This Week in Search. Wow, I got to work on that a bit. Otherwise known as SEOs with beards. Yeah, it's.
Does that
like
work?
Is that a prerequisite or something? Like, yeah, there's a lot of beards running around this business. Not sure how that works. Well, anyways, folks, might as well say hello to everyone and let them know who you are and what you've been up to lately. Bill, you're on my left here at least, so up to you first.
Bill Slosky. I'm the author at SEO by the Sea, and I'm the director of SEO research at Go Fish Digital. I'm busy writing about a patent that involves click-throughs and long clicks and short clicks. People who love click-through rankings excited.
Yes, I know that will definitely. Oh God, start something. Yeah. Implicit user feedback, always a favorite. I guess I think in the news this week, because I'm not even touching, I'll just go by it. Someone, Mueller, somebody had to actually tell people they don't use pogo sticking as a ranking factor. Anyways, Kevin.
Wait, are we talking about like actual jumping up and down on a pogo stick?
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah. That's you get your pull your website up on your phone, get on a pogo stick, and just jump around the parking lot for a while, and your rankings go up. Standard issue. Thought everybody knew that.
I didn't know that.
Oh, well, now you do. You've been educated, Mr. Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin Dory. I'm the director of SEO and I've been checking old email addresses that I haven't looked at in 5 years. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And working on your next Pixar film, of course. Yeah.
As the fish.
Terry.
Yeah. What if
we only do this every week for about 10 years. No, it's fine.
I have to think. I'm doing I'm putting together a PPC campaign, getting into that stuff again, learning some new stuff. Probably go over and rattle Steve's cage in a while.
Very good.
What information I can get from him.
Mr. Garen, sir, say hello to everyone, where you work and what you've been up to lately, other than hiding from Terry in the next 2 hours.
Steve Garen, sir, Steam-driven media. Lately, been just grinding away on paid traffic ads, and got a couple of clients. I'm desperately trying to convince them to let us take over their content creation from whatever intern they hired from the local university.
What could go wrong?
She writes well enough, but she has no concept of what she's doing.
Great. Mr. Plunkett, sir.
Yes, sir.
Say hello to folks. Let them know what you've been up to other than perusing Twitter.
Let's see. I was in New Mexico for a week with my new bride. And who is now the mother of my child. Say child. Last week, I'm going to be a dad. Go crazy, right?
A child. That's like a subset of a main theme, right, on WordPress?
It's a small life form.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought there was just something that had to do with a theme on WordPress.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of one of those things that human evolution. The continuation of the species thing. Yeah,
I do actually have one of those, and she turned 18 recently, so her bags are still sitting packed at my front door. She's not taking the hint.
You decided to let her live when she was a teenager, huh? You may get grandchildren someday as a reward.
I had hoped that we'd
okay. Other than that, I've been doing a lot of online reputation management consulting for some high-profile people on the side, and helping some businesses with local and rebranding and all kinds of neat things that people can do.
Excellent stuff, Tim.
Tim Calling, Service Heart Web Design and Marketing. I think I want to be Steve Plunkett when I grow up and work with high-profile clients. But until then, just actually grinding away.
Do you really? Careful what you ask.
Just working normal stuff. Speaking at the other end of that pipeline with children and great grandchildren, I can say it is worth letting them live when they are teenagers, almost. So that's what I would say.
Excellent. Well, and that's the show, folks. It's summer. There's nothing else to talk about in this industry because it's goddamn July, so nothing happens except for pogo sticking isn't a thing. Well, there you go. That was pretty exciting. I guess in other news, Google or Mr. Mueller there was talking about the fact that mobile first is not fully rolled out, to which Barry Schwartz commented that, well, who knows, it could take 10 years. So there you go. Not sure about that. Oh, I see. Oh, yes. And of course, yes. Stone Temple Pilot. They're out of the game now. They sold out. So goodbye.
So start Stone Temple Spaceship Captain. Yeah. No, Starship Spaceman. I like Stone Temple Spaceman instead of Stone Temple Pilots.
I love those guys, but those videos kill me. So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
I mean, they know their stuff. I'm just saying they know their stuff. And, you know, if this is what it takes to get a bunch of views on YouTube and be the voice of SEO on YouTube, this is what it takes, guys. If we're not willing to do this and they are, then kudos to them. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yep.
100%.
So yeah, I guess, you know, the whole mobile first index essentially is going to take some time to roll fully out, and so who knows. So again, I guess if you're in the forensic world or anything like that, you start telling your clients that it might be that, you could be, you know, shooting yourself in the ass. So,
Well,
personally, I haven't looked at it too much as something that's an issue, but who knows when it'll fully roll out. Yeah, Bill came up with another one there that I was looking at this morning, that no index and canonical are not the same thing.
What?
100%.
Wait, what?
Well, I'm guessing some people had sort of tried to no index a page as a way to stop Google from looking at it. Bill, if you want to run there, from what I understood, John was kind of saying something along the lines that they're really sort of combining the two pages as opposed to, you know what I mean, saying disregard this page, which is kind of what a no index does anyways.
No index tells the search engine, don't index this page. A canonical tells the search engine, index this other page instead of this page. So you're still being inconsistent. Make up your mind.
Right, yeah, that's what John was saying, that you're basically sending two completely different signals at this point. One is ignore the page, and like he was saying, they literally will look at both those versions of the canonical and almost sort of combine them to agree. I think something he was trying to explain. So yeah, that no index is not an option for dealing with that. I guess you could. I don't know why you would. You know what I mean? But don't do both for sure. You know, if you really got to worried about thin content because, you know, maybe you've got e-com and you've got 6 different types of shirt, yellow, blue, and pink. But I still think canonical is the way you want to deal with that. So personally, what could go wrong with no indexes, right? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, too, Google still knows it's there. There's a link still going to be in the results. So what have you accomplished? Nothing. You know, no indexing. When we were doing forensic, I saw guys who no index large parts of sites. We removed the no indexing and pages started to rank. So in other words, they just no index whole sections with no real regard as to what ranked, what didn't rank. And clearly, if it ranks, it's not thin content, people. Pretty simple.
Unless, of course, everything below you is even thinner. Or if it's a weight loss site, okay. That's why I'm writing a new post on thin content. It's all about weight loss.
No index should be like not ever used by an SEO. You remove the content for tenant. Like no indexing, it is useless. Make it valuable or remove it.
Well, I guess there are instances. I mean, I run into cases where there's PDFs and stuff that I really don't need to be crawled and returned. You know what I mean? So I'll robot that shit out or whatever. You know what I mean? So,
or pages that have hidden forms on them for private use or things like that.
Yeah, there's the odd instance, but yeah, I know what you're saying, Terry. Like, like that friend of ours that has that rule written for, you know, when to turn a page into a no index, then all of a sudden it comes back as indexable, then no index it, and then it's like, you know, I
Those
think
things always end up as problems. I'm sorry, I've never, you know, large wholesale, no indexing. I've only seen it cause problems.
When you sort products by prices, price high to low, price low to high, there's no real need to index those a second time in that way. People aren't going to search for them.
Right, so use the parameter tool in DSC, right? Isn't that a better way to do it than to no index a page?
Most people don't know how to use a parameter tool correctly.
Yeah, well,
I would hesitate telling people to because.
Oh, okay. I can understand that.
That's an easily broken situation, to Bill's point.
I've never had any problem with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what you're doing. I'm just saying, I agree with Bill. I've seen people.
And here's my answer to that. If they don't know what they're doing, why are they making the decision?
When Google says at the top of a tool, if you don't know how to use this, don't use it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't you think that if you're going to be in SEO, you might want to learn how to use something like that?
And you would think Google would publish a video, pull out Miley and do one of those videos how to use the pagination tool.
Now you've given me an idea for content.
It'd make a good video, music video, or a rap video.
yeah, you know, I mean, there's also like, Terry, think of those wonderfully editorial controlled sites with multiple offers and tags, and everyone's just adding a tag whenever the fuck they want, and you end up with a zillions of these tag pages with, you know, 1 or 2 posts on them. And,
Think
know,
about how
I prefer to
useful
dealing with the issues better, which is controlling your writers and ensuring that you have, you know, a taxonomy in place. But sometimes we run into those situations where you got multiple authors and everyone's just creating their own tags on the fly all the time.
I went through the categories on sites and always cleaned them up. You know, they have like, for instance, the plural of the same category. So you have cat and cats. I mean, that's just an example. It wasn't quite that bad, but you know where.
What I know, I'm pretty sure stemmings are one of the 200 ranking factors. I'm pretty sure of that. Sorry, Steve.
No, I was just say I've seen them that bad. I've seen websites with, you know, 800 different categories because they have so many different authors, and each one of them just creates their own categories without even looking to see what's out there. Then a guy just asked a question yesterday in one of the groups that he wanted to have the category in his URL structure for WordPress, but he wanted the same article in multiple categories and wanted to know why WordPress wouldn't give him each one of those as a unique page and URL. It's like, no, that's not how that's supposed to work.
Yeah, didn't someone say it's a dangerous tool earlier? Well, then again, it stresses the need for, like, you know, top end taxonomies and tags and categories on down, and that's it. You pick one of these and that's it. You know.
It's always about having a plan for your site and people sticking to the plan.
Yeah, now I don't really think I've ever dug into it on that level because I do sort of more technical shit. But does WordPress have a setting like that as far as user control, and you can create like people that can't create tags and categories? I would assume it does.
There's different levels on some themes. There's different levels of authorship.
Right. Yeah, I think that's something you definitely want.
Yeah. You can also whack them in the back of the head when they use a cat.
That's good too. I find that to be much better. That's really gets the point.
That's probably the best learning method around.
The Louisville plugin, right?
The side of the head works.
Plugin, yeah, I like it.
The Al Capone way of SEO.
Yeah.
I actually got to do that one day at work, and it was very nice. You know,
Hit somebody in the head with a baseball bat.
I threatened to hit this guy in the head with a baseball bat for months. And one day, one of the owners walked in and handed me one of those big orange plastic wiffle ball bats. So I hit him. And everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And it's like, what part of I've been telling you I'm going to hit him did you not understand?
Is that why you work from home now?
I'm just gonna get one of those and print director of SEO on it or something. You know?
So, Steve, what year was that?
Oh, that was maybe 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, because now you'd probably end up being charged with a crime in most cases. You'd end up with a lot of trouble.
The judge would have taken one look at the guy I hit and went, "Yeah, he probably deserved it."
It might depend on who appointed that judge in the first place. You never know.
Yeah, we're talking Indiana, not California.
Mm.
You can get away with more in Indiana.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I'm from the Midwest. I maybe could buy that. So.
I have a question for Steve. Search Console says all my URLs are blocked by robot.txt. I already tried to remove robots. We use minimum robots instructions. Use anything else? Any ideas? Wow, that's hardly even English, dude. I'm proud of you. I even answered that.
I know. I tried to help, but at a certain point, you just wipe your hands of it and go,
I'm literally reading the first post on that 3 times, trying to figure out what the fuck he's talking about. Okay, well, you know, and that's what we do, folks. We go out and spend our time. Well, okay. Yeah. It's a life.
This is the Facebook discussion group.
Yeah, no, it's one of the other ones, not ours. It's one of the other ones. But Steve's out there slugging away.
Am I the only one that hears Facebook and Facebook group and SEO and just goes, no?
I've been answering some questions in Reddit recently, and some of the Facebook questions have nothing on the red questions.
You've got another one down in this.
The red edit stuff will get indexed in search.
Wow.
That's true. That's some value.
Reddit has some SEO issues.
Some?
Yeah.
Like
I
they get reported for spam?
For Facebook, the only groups I do are the Dojo groups. Anything else, I don't even use my personal account and wouldn't have one if it wasn't part of doing the job.
No, but you were close there. You wouldn't have one if you were in these other groups. You would have been banned by now.
That's probably true too.
Wow, I could just imagine Terry and a few of the other unnamed groups that we're thinking of right now, people. It would just be like smoke coming out of the computer when I go on there.
I tried putting or installing a Chrome extension that would block political stuff on Facebook, and I suddenly realized I wasn't seeing anything from most of you guys, especially Doc and.
I love that extension.
A few of these unmentionable Facebook groups that some of us hang out in. I've been called untactful, so I'm just imagining what would happen if Terry was answering questions. It'd be like, oh my Lord.
My favorite part about these groups is using them for finding new clients. Because you get people asking really stupid questions, then you get them to tell you the URL that they're trying to figure out, and then you contact that person and say, you hired this idiot, and I'm answering his questions. How about we just cut him out of the middle and you hire me directly?
But see, I like that theory, except the inherent issue, as you probably well know over our years, of if they were stupid enough to hire him, how's your life going to go with that client? Like,
and then you're going to cut your profit.
There becomes the problem is qualifying the asshole who hired the asshole in the first place. So,
I have a rule, the worse you are to work for, the more I charge you, so that I don't mind working for you.
Oh yeah, I do have that 25% asshole rate increase thing going on in my life.
Now we had the $2 idiot fee for pizza delivery.
Yeah. Well, I had, you know, my most recent forensic thing I was talking about before the show is you know, they came in the door with the basic concept being that it was a Drupal site, which, by the way, folks, everyone here advises everyone should on Drupal, bar none. The entire internet should be on Drupal. My wife's looking at me like I'm crazy. It was a joke, honey. That was a joke. No Drupal. We're good.
Being facetious.
You need to hold up a sign, joke, you know.
Canadian joke. Canadian joke.
I'm getting printed on my shirt. Don't listen to anything he says. I'll just have that right here and I'll be good.
Can we put SEO as a close second to that one?
Now, and again, if I had gotten that Twitter thing right, you just say, well, I heard it from that asshole, you know, so, but I screwed that up. But anyway, so they're, on Drupal, and they updated it and did a bunch of changes. And again, it seems to be the forensic thing these days is site updates and developers. It's gone are the days of the link spam. But anyways, and they changed the URLs site-wide, a couple thousand pages, not a big site. They changed the URL site-wide, but their developer told the owner of the company, even though the person managing the SEO kind of does SEO, not a hardcore SEO. But anyway, small company. And against her wishes, they changed all the URLs on the site and decided and told the owner of the company that they should only redirect like the top level category stuff because the rest is going to weight down the HD access and cause problems loading. So, yeah. And magically, now their traffic dropped off 40-odd%. What could go wrong? Yep. So, yeah. And I think we're all in agreement, right? Why would you want to redirect the other pages? You know.
Well, also, did he change the sitemap and put them in the sitemap? That would be,
Well, no, but there's no due diligence to see which other than these pages had any kind of external equity. There's no considerations to the internal linking and architecture parts of it. There was no it was just a clusterfuck across the board, right? Then the SEO person says, "Well, not a good idea," and so now,
you got how little some of these developers really know.
Well, that's it. But I think that's why you've got someone on staff from the SEO world. It's a matter of who. Again, sadly, it's often who are they listening to, or who's got the biggest access to the owner or the CEO or who the hell ever,
or the best Star Trek costumes.
No, that's just how you get bought out. Oh, which goes back to one of Tim's.
Oh, never mind. Slow.
All right. Oh, Star Trek. Back to the the kings of the SEO green screen. Just couldn't do it. Love you, Eric. Love you, Mark. Couldn't do it.
Did they ask Google Assistant if they got caught? Sorry. That's kind of funny. I'm having a good week.
Well, I think Tim was asking in the Dojo chat room, Skype room there about, do smaller people ever look at that exit strategy? I don't know. Yeah, you kind of came in on the tail end of that, Steve. And, I think that a smaller group, our companies and stuff like that, we don't have enough ongoing clients to really have a brand we're selling, and pretty much our brand's us. And so once you retire something, who the hell is going to buy it anyway? So
I think you have to plan for it for a long and execute on that plan for a long time, so that you're not in that position.
Well, you have to grow to be a company worth acquiring.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah,
you have to be
not that you guys aren't, but you have to be a sizable.
You have to be scalable, and you have to not have a brand that is like Joe Schmo SEO.
So there you go, Tim. Don't even worry about selling your business. Just go out and over the years build some nice niche sites that you can make some money off of while you're off on vacation.
Well, some of that's going on too, but
that's probably the best way to go.
I wonder actually who was doing that. Frank
Watson. I don't know.
He was
Watson.
Watson.
Yeah,
it's only Frank I know in this space.
Yeah, it's Frank Watson. He was building some gigantic, some kind of a search site or something. We haven't seen him for a long time.
And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, as long as you got that one name, we just said Frank and everyone said Watson. I think that's why you're trying to be like Elvis or Madonna here. In our world, you say Bill, everyone's going to go Slosky.
Well,
you say Terry, they go, Now, the Daves and the Steves, there's just too many of us. So
there's a lot of
we'll
Steves.
Yeah, we'll never be the one word,
Yeah,
one name people.
I think if you build it around your name, then you're just begging for it not to be saleable. But yeah, I think it has to be scalable, and it has to be clearly the brand that's got the
Well, you
reputation.
got to have the desire to scale it, though. Really, like
Yeah.
that's kind of where I'm at. Like I still work under a company name, but do I really? We were up to larger sizes in the past with more employees and things like that, and not sure that's really the
Well,
world I'm after at the moment.
yep. I would say, okay, so I've done the build it up and sell it thing. I think being scalable doesn't have to mean that you have employees, especially not in our world. You can have independent contractors if you are careful about legitimately classifying them. In fact, as a California business, or at least one that does business in California, I would say that my goal is to never have employees again. But yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot actually for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't. Again, I'd rather build other types of businesses that I can just feed off of in the future, maybe.
I think even big businesses coming to that realization, Tim. You see more and more co-working where the people don't even go into the office. They go into a co-working space and they're working for a major company. They're seeing it because of real estate. They don't have to own real estate. It also means they can put their employee at anywhere it's close to them. So instead of having to travel miles, they can go around the corner to work. It's definitely changing. And
it's real estate and equipment and all kinds of things.
yeah, well,
and also it lends itself more to an independent contractor model than would otherwise be the case. I think, at least in this country and especially in my state, it's gotten to the point where having employees, if you're a smaller business anyway, it's just not worth it if you can avoid it. Sometimes you can't.
you totally can in our business because you just subcontract everything.
Exactly.
And you know what? If I were going to employ someone, I'd say, look, I want to hire you, but I won't hire you as an employee. I'm hiring you as a freelance consultant because I don't want to look after the compensation, all the other
law, all the wage and hour laws
with having employees.
Yeah, I wouldn't use the word hire though, at least in this country. I would use a different word, but yeah, I'm totally with you. That's the way I'm.
That may be changing. I was just reading an article where Uber is starting to deal with some issues in New York, where they're going to have to start covering unemployment insurance and things like that for their drivers, even though their drivers are technically contractors.
Yeah, that's what all the ride shares did to get around the New York legislation. They put them that way, and then they readjusted the legislation to come back and hit them again.
In other words, they don't want them there, and they're just figuring out ways to make it not worth their while.
No, they want their money. They want their take on it. The problem is, in New York, the cabbies union sort of lost out to the Ubers and the Lyfts. This is just because I used to live in New York City, so I was more aware of that than most. And that was a case of basically New York just wants to. New York, you get taxed more than almost any place else in the world than you do in New York City. And Uber and Lyft were outside of that reach.
It's a big factor in the industry that I just got out of when I sold my home care company as well, especially in California again. It's very difficult to actually provide that kind of a service without the workers being somebody's employee. And if it's not the company, then it's really the family of the client that is receiving care, and they just don't know it. But the states here, well, in California anyway, there's two or three factors. One is taxes. Another is our government is completely sold out to organized labor, our state government. So
all governments don't.
Well, maybe so.
All of them, to some degree, are heavily what do you call it?
Sold out
by unions.
we have the best government that money can buy.
Yeah.
But it's a bigger and bigger factor for a lot of industries. That honestly is one of the reasons why we decided to sell our company, our home care company. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons.
Yeah, you must have been right around the edge of where you had to start doing a lot of extra work to accommodate employees.
Yeah, well, actually, you might be thinking of like the threshold of 50 for Obamacare.
Yeah.
So we were above that, and we kind of scaled back down, partly to avoid that. But a lot of the real onerous laws in this state apply even if you only have 5 employees. So yeah, it's. I mean, to their credit, the big companies in that industry that have prevailed, they do a good job of it. They tends to consolidate industries. You have more and more bigger or larger small companies than
Right.
existed before. So, and the rest of us, they did their work. They wanted us out, and we got out. So, but on the other hand, that's one of the attractions for me of this industry. But besides the fact that I really like doing SEO work, it's that you can work with legitimately classified independent contractors anywhere in the world and be successful and be scalable too.
Yeah.
And still maintain quality standards and have standard practices and all those things.
Well, for
Is
the
that-
entirely bored, I just posted a link to a PDF.
I was going to say that's my weekly rant, I guess. Sorry.
I posted a link anyways too. This is even more boring. Don't worry.
Okay,
There's a
good.
link to some testimony from Google's Director, Public Policy and Government Relations, Juniper Downs, who was testifying to the House Judiciary Committee.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, just a link to some of the crap in there for anyone who wants
What
to dig around
what
in
was
it.
she saying? Was it on point for what we were talking about?
Oh yeah, totally no, just completely different.
You know,
Random shit on a Friday.
internally, Dave.
Juniper Downs.
Whipping boy.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
Good
something
Lord,
great on
what
it.
is this about?
Just
Oh.
random crap, really. To be honest with you, there's not a whole lot that stood out for me. They talked about YouTube a bit. They talked about how they're, present results. I think there was even some about rank brain in there. That's how it ended up on my freaking lap. So.
Well, yeah, this sounds like them saying that.
There was an interesting point in there about the rank brain stuff, which being 15% of queries, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of talked about, for a breaking news story, obviously that's going to be a search query they haven't seen before because whatever it is just broke and what have you, right? So it gives little insight to the kind of people next time they're yipping about rank brain on how one of the areas that they probably use it, or that it gets used a lot. So.
The content that's indexed on breaking news stories hasn't existed long enough to have built any links to it. So links aren't a ranking signal involved in those.
Right. Yeah, and it's a new query technically because it's something brand new out of the box, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't see rank brain in here, but
I don't think they talked about it specifically. No.
Juniper Downs. That's an interesting name.
Juniper. Yep.
Actually, I have a nephew named Cedar, so it's the tree names.
Yeah, interesting that they mentioned the Google search quality evaluator people. Anyways, nothing massive, to be honest, but just more crap on a Friday.
There's a way to stop the employee versus independent contractor rant. I know.
Oh no, that's a fascinating one too on a Friday in the middle of June. Why
not? It's all boring.
Well, we could always ask Terry about H1s. That'll keep us busy for the next time.
That's more interesting than employment law.
Oh yeah.
Well, employment law is boring until you get served with that first lawsuit, and then it gets more interesting. So
that's why I spoof all my Google My Business stuff and every address I have.
That's the way to do it.
I use NAP to avoid things, not to get customers.
You change your home Wi-Fi name to be FBI surveillance.
Who was that the other day? I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
I've read that. That was me. I've read that a couple times.
That was funny as
It's-
hell, dude. As soon as
I'm
I said
gonna
that,
do it.
the missus was like, "Oh, I got to do that."
I'm going
Oh,
to do
so-
it. I swear. I
You
just-
could set it to insert credit card number here.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Starbucks too, and accept local connections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for a good
yeah.
time. Click here.
Yeah.
I was just going through a post from last week that kind of got my attention, and
All right.
that's
Good, go
one
for it.
reviews affect local ranking.
Which reviews?
Pardon me?
Drop a link in there for everyone. That'll help.
Oh, sorry.
Throw it in the chat. Give some reference for the boys. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Doing
Remember, we talk local and Dave leaves. Remember?
Yeah.
So reviews affect local rankings.
Which
That's
reviews?
nothing new.
Yes.
Right. That was known or expected.
Yeah, but there's also differences in what that how it degrades based on the number of reviews, based on the time of the listings, based on how many listings, based on how quick they respond to comments on their page.
It sounds like a blog post I wrote 2 months ago.
Right.
Probably.
Didn't that tie in with them removing the bot and the auto generated or the anonymous bullshit reviews?
If people write reviews about something and then never go back to that business, the reviews start losing value.
Right, which makes perfect sense.
If you if you think about it though, if you go eat somewhere and you don't like it and you leave a review, a negative review, why would you go back? Now, if you left a positive review, that's different.
No, I think it matters more from the positive standpoint of if nobody fakes. There aren't as many faked negative reviews as there are faked positive reviews.
I wonder.
Right.
That maybe so.
You also have issues where you only need a business or a service once. Something, like I just had the transmission of my truck rebuilt. The odds of me needing that service ever again are pretty minimal unless I keep driving the way I've been driving.
Right. But if you took that to a general mechanic shop and they did a specific task, then you might go back if that was your mechanic.
right.
If you're reviewing a tax attorney,
I know. I'm just saying, like there's specialties when you feed down to a granular level that makes sense. But I think as a whole, I'm not surprised that Google's changing the way reviews matter because that's their currency from a local standpoint.
Yeah. For me, when someone says it's a ranking factor, I always wonder how much does it actually push rank? Like, in other words, if I got 5 reviews or I get 20 reviews, how's that help my rankings? How much?
Well, and also
unlike links, which depend upon the quality of the site the link is from, a review counts as an individual citation.
Right.
It-
well, and also, does it count when you ask that, Terry? Are you talking about local or organic?
Yeah,
Because I think-
he's talking specifically about local.
About local, okay.
Right. And from the many interviews that Dave and I have done, what we were told was basically having some is important. How many you have, not so much. Because to say, if you have 5 reviews in some categories, that would be 5 more than anyone else got.
Yeah.
It's all subjective. And you need to look at, and another thing is like, I know how hard it was for a site to get, say, 20. And then I look at the competitor and he's got 140. I'm sorry. That does not compute as a ranking factor. Only could be a signal because it's in the same category as click-through rates and that other.
I think it's a signal, not a factor, because and that's what I'm trying to do. Like, because I've got the data. I'm trying to look at it for 2018 for all of our dealerships from that standpoint, and hopefully I'll have the data come Christmas time. Like, I'm trying to get as big of a sample as possible understand if dealer A with 6 reviews is outranking dealer B with 2. What about dealer C who has 152 reviews? How do they compete? But to your point, Terry, it's very subjective. I think it might be a factor in the standpoint of if it's competition between 2, but not a ranking factor from that standpoint of it, because it's too subjective. And also any system that we can game, anything that we can game, is not a ranking factor, and you can game the shit out of reviews.
There's another thing to consider, which is we're talking about Google ranking. There's also the consumer or the searcher's reaction.
Right, but that's not what the post was about.
That's different. It's yeah.
I agree. They make a lot more difference for users than they do for Google. That's my main point too.
The social proof.
Yeah, if you're doing it for users, that's good. If you're doing because you think it's going to help your rankings, I wouldn't spend. I think there's a lot more things you can do that are have a lot higher ROI, as Dave would say.
Right, but definitely from a user, you could I stand by car dealers sell more cars when they're active on their reviews.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And when they have the reviews, when you're in a service-based industry like that, do it for your bottom line. Don't necessarily do it for your SEO bot. Like you can influence
conversion qualification.
Yep.
Hey, Kevin, they took the ratings off the actual map listings for dealers.
Yeah, they take them off and they put them back. It's an ongoing.
Wait. Let's do this. Dallas Chili's, right? We know Chili's is a restaurant in Dallas. They took the reviews off the restaurants here, right?
Yeah, no, they take them, but then try it in a couple of days, and then it'll go back on. It's sort of an ongoing test.
Which means that they may be saying reviews in categories are useless, and they're checking it out.
Well, or that one is a branded search.
Yeah,
so
branded search, right? Because Dallas restaurants has reviews. Let's put in Dallas car dealers without an automobile brand and
take the Dallas out of it. Take Dallas out of it and just look.
Well, no, with Dallas.
I know, but I'm just
take Dallas out. Got it.
Yeah, because if you're in, it's there. Like so, if you're in Dallas, I don't usually look for Dallas dealers.
Well, no, I did, and that was what
I know.
It's there. If I put Dallas Ford dealers, it's going to take the reviews off. If I put no brand, I think Tim hit it on the head. You put a brand in there, it's going to take it off, right?
I think that's part of
generic stuff.
Google's data-driven design. They're experimenting with different things, and sometimes they'll add stuff, sometimes they'll take away. If people click on those things more when they show reviews,
that's my point. Bill just nailed it changes. It's a constantly fluctuating situation.
It's categorical as well.
One of Google's head designers left the company because he didn't like that they were doing that with the color blue. But they had 16 different types of blue, and he tried to design something blue. They told him which one he had to use, and he said, "No, I'm not going to do this anymore." Bye.
So we know that in a number of ways that these local results are affected when you are doing a brand search, and that's been shown a lot of times. I think that in some ways they do the consumer a disservice by that, if the consumer is trying to decide which Ford to go to in a big metro area, but it is what it is.
If you go to the I was just going to say, if you go to the map listing, Steve, like if you look for it in maps, yes, they take the reviews off, but as you scroll on the menu on the left-hand side, the first thing that pops up next to the pin is their review in the map, which is weird. Their review score. So
saving space. They're looking to save space with that.
And they're trying to push the ads now. There's 4 ads based on my setup. There's 4 ads on the map.
Oh, so they had to make room for the ads.
Yeah, they're saving space.
Got to make money. Can't make money without.
Everyone's got to get paid.
It's not a free Google's not in this for the best of our interests.
But
Really?
it's also, I
So
think
it's almost.
Lies, all lies, Kevin.
Wait a
So I
second.
wonder,
Terry,
I
what
wonder
were you
if
saying?
the
They have more
if
than
the ad.
6,000
Go ahead.
now they have to pay them?
I wonder if when it reaches a certain CPC threshold is when they start to pull those ads to save space to push
they
more
don't
ads on that space.
PPC and organic. Sorry. Whoa. Sorry, I don't think they look at CPC metrics to do search. I don't think so. Sorry. Not something, yeah. There's supposed to be a wall between the two. I tend to think that it should be maintained.
That's what they've been telling us, but
For a long time. But,
we know that they
I don't.
care about people clicking on ads.
Yeah.
They've been saying since
Right.
back in the days of the Google, the PageRank citation, the anatomy of hypertextual search engines.
Right.
They have an appendix in that one where they talk about advertising, and they say if they show certain advertisements that go against the organic results, the people who are advertising might not like the organic results it show. It's going to disturb them.
Well, when that little engine Google first came out, they said the difference between them and the other guys is they didn't show ads.
Yeah, but my main point is that they don't make decisions on organic search based on information that's taken from CPC. That if the government ever found them doing that, then they're in big trouble because they violated the sanctity or separation of the two.
Church and state. Yeah.
State.
I can imagine how that would go in probably a $4 or $5 billion fine.
The FTC has sent them letters saying, "Be careful. Label your ads carefully. Make sure people realize their ads." I don't think that people always realize that advertisements are ads in search results.
Well, I think that's two different things. Like to Terry's point, they don't take the data from one side. The left hand and the right hand don't talk data-wise, but we agree that they are constantly changing the display of the SERPs to mimic both. Like they would like it to be as ambiguous. Like they don't like telling you that.
If they don't shake hands, you're telling me that the search volume data in AdWords tool is wrong then.
We've been seeing
again. So what I'm saying, Kevin, is there is some data that's going back and forth.
Oh yeah, but I don't think they make
affecting the
business
display
decisions.
and everything. Yeah, okay,
I don't think they make. I agree with Terry. They don't make business decisions because they would get so royally.
In other words, they don't take reviews off because the CPC is higher.
we are seeing some of the paid results mimicking organic results in terms of features.
Yes.
I agree there, Bill. They might do that where they learn from something on CPC and apply it to the SERP in general, but making business.
Or they learn from the organic and apply it to the CPC. Right.
Right. That was my point, and I'm sorry, Cam. I didn't mean to,
That's what this is for.
Okay.
I don't think it's personal. Come on, man. But I mean, think about it. If you got ultra high volume queries like that, and they know they can slide an extra ad or two on that page by deducting the reviews, you bet your ass they're pulling those reviews to split those ads up there. Period. So whether or not they're talking, the fact that those certain queries have significantly higher volume, so they know that they can slide those ads up. They don't even have to know that the CPC is higher.
It could also be that a restaurant and a car dealership has a lot more usage by users. So they want to, and there's so much spam in those categories that are like that they don't think the reviews are really honest anymore. And I would agree with them.
Right. I think they weight the reviews in certain categories. Reviews weighted like for this.
Yeah, by guides, by how often the person leaves a review, by if the person takes photos with those reviews consistently, that's all weighted.
So some industries are less trusted than others, like locksmiths or
Yeah, very.
SEOs.
Yeah, like a jewelry store versus versus a car dealer. You're gonna
Or a pawn shop, right?
The really knocked out web designers and SEOs were the first people blocked from the cert when they did that.
Yeah.
Because we'd spam the hardest.
yeah. If you can game it, it doesn't count.
If you can game it, we'll do it.
Yep.
Now they do show SEO results as local pack type results.
They do.
I mean, they had stopped that for a long time, and now they're doing it.
Well, they do as long as you have a GMB profile set up.
Which is awesome for me in my town of 12 businesses.
How you doing?
Well, hey,
number 11.
No, apparently for you, David, for local, the story is alignable or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or next
And they all
one
have
of those.
7,000. All have 7,000 reviews.
So how many people?
That's it. I've got, I have 12 grand reviews in a town of 12 businesses. What?
You need to
Google,
put
that
the
guy,
little going
a Google user is very popular. He likes me.
Wow.
I keep forgetting we live in one of those big giant metropolises, Dave.
That's what I was just thinking. I'll bet you for a restaurant in a small town, he's got almost as many reviews as there are people in the town.
Well, there's the thing, though, Terry. When you got literally a town with like 12 businesses in it, they don't really care. They don't need Google. There's only one restaurant, one gas station, one fucking grocery store. Like, where else you gonna go, people? Fuck you. You're coming here. So,
So they all sit.
Nobody around here needs to compete against anybody. So.
Well, actually, so I just went and looked at Plattsmouth, Nebraska, where my mom is from, and looked at Mom's Cafe, which is like the only coffee shop in town. It has I should probably do a screen share. 179 Google reviews, averaging 4.4. So,
what's the population? 600?
No, it's probably a couple thousand. It's not real big. But
We're like 2,500 here. But again,
so 10% of the population gave them a review. Well, that's reasonable.
I lived in Fauquier County, Virginia, and used to look for businesses and look for reviews, and people didn't write reviews of businesses there at all. I used to have to ask neighbors for recommendations for auto mechanics because I couldn't find reviews online.
Well, until just the last probably 5 or 10 years, I don't know how you would have found a review of an auto mechanic online, really. I know you've been here.
Like in all reality, like the people around here in the surrounding small towns and stuff, there's Facebook groups for the region kind of thing, and people literally go, does anyone know a good duct tape guy? Does anyone know someone who can do this and that? Like literally, they're not as much, I think, searching and looking at reviews as they're literally going to these Facebook groups and just asking people, Like,
right, it's crowdsourced recommendation.
Yeah, next door.
Yep. That is far more common, Kevin, around here, like where I am.
No, I mean, it's even like in Baltimore, that's the way it was. Like there are even the little towns in the big cities, it's the crowdsourced recommendation.
I see the ISO stuff far more than anything else.
By the way, Dave, Plattsmouth is much larger than your little town, apparently. So.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Anyway.
I'll see what Tanya's doing later. See if we can up the population by a couple. There we go. All right.
Oh boy.
I am destined to get in trouble.
Hey, I did my duty.
I think actually your population might be going down by one there, Dave.
one SEO less by the morning.
You now have 11 businesses in your.
Or at least you may be diminishing your odds of increasing the population.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't even literally. There's not even stoplights. It's just a big stop sign in the middle of town. That is it, man.
And that's where the one cop in town sits?
No,
waiting
we
to
don't
see-
have any cops in our town, dude.
Oh,
They get
okay.
their police service from a city that's about 15 minutes from here, and you might see one of them roll through town like once or twice a week. But that's the beauty of a small town is you wouldn't want to break into someone's house around here because literally everyone's someone's uncles, cousins, brothers, this, like literally, like, your dad's Uncle Jimmy, Bob's friend over there, but you broke it. What the fuck? Come here, boy. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, there is no crime here because it's just like you'd be ostracized if you ever did something.
Right. I've seen that TV before. Why did you get that TV from Bob's house? Like,
yeah, that's it, pretty much. You got good odds on that,
Where I'm at, we've got a town of 800 people, a police chief, and 4 cops.
Like, see, here you go. Like, we're 3 times the size. Why do you need a cop? Like, we don't need one.
Because
that's right. You're an American. You guys all have guns, right? Someone's gonna get fucking.
Well, no, it's because we have a speed limit that drops from 50 to 20, and we need to have a way of generating revenue.
Right.
Right. Yep.
It's the same as a toll. It's like a toll.
Yeah. Just keep changing that sign change that sign every 6 months, and you're sure to get a few bucks.
Well, but that's just it. If you're local, they know you and they point at you to slow down. And if you're not local, they pull you over and give you $100 ticket.
The record.
Now, if I go to the next town over, I get a ticket.
That's a racket in Wisconsin. They carry the MasterCard thing to process you right in the car. The guy said, well, you don't. I said, well, I can't go to jail. I'm from Canada. He said, well, you ain't leaving this car unless you got a visa to pay me right here now.
In Virginia, the information from your driving record goes into the computer system and gets farmed out to attorneys' offices. You get 8 or 10 postcards from different attorneys that tell you they can help change that speeding ticket to a non-moving violation for $99. So it's down to a system in Virginia.
Obviously, because it's not $100, it's 99. So it's definitely a system, man. They got marketers on staff at that cop shop. No, man, go 99. It's much easier to sell. Well, as always, I'm glad to see we're talking SEO stuff.
We were talking local SEO, and that's how that went in here.
Right. That's just where we drifted to,
We dance around topics.
Grand scheme of things, we've been a lot worse a lot more often. This is much more focused.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why we get paid the big bucks, boys. Anybody want to talk about audits? No.
Only that I don't charge you enough for them.
There's just a tool. You hit a button. I put a URL on the site and it spits out an audit, right?
Yep, that's what they are.
Yep.
Red fucking button, buddy.
Yep, that's what we do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start doing audits on Whiteboard Fridays. Oh wait, is that crossfoot? Like, here's your audit. You got to pay attention, and now it's gone.
Well, I think if you did it on Moz, it'd be legit at least.
Hey.
Oh boy.
Wait. That's not that funny. That could have been funnier.
Great. Now I'm getting reviews on my jokes on air. Audio reviews. There you go. That's the next one. Get sentiment analysis going with Google conversational search.
That's easy. No whammies, big bucks.
Yeah.
These are going to turn into some good clips, aren't they, Dave?
Oh yeah. Well, no, it'll make it easier at least. I only got to take out about 12 minutes of this show, so speed my weekend up. Okay, from this point on, we just babbled about bullshit, so Yeah, if we want, we could just turn this on its head and say it's the listener's fault for not sending any legit questions our way. So if you don't like the show, it's your
people
fault.
Listening to this?
I think so. Yeah. We have.
Oh shit! We're on air. That's what that says. Wow.
I know.
The whole time.
Yeah, there's literally some people on a few places. All right, now even YouTube, like the YouTube chat was going nuts the other day.
It's the other 11 people up by you, David.
Yeah. I don't. No, nobody around here. I didn't even bother with SEO around here. People say, "What are you doing?" My wife and I just tell them internet stuff. So that's what I'm looking to rank for locally. So when I read
Internet stuff.
every one of them people doing that internety stuff, and there's my name.
Can I leave a review that you do the best internet stuff that I've
Yeah,
ever
you
seen?
can go right ahead.
Internet things. When I need internet stuff in
Because
small town
I'm
Canada,
such
I
a-
go to Dave.
Because I'm such a legit SEO, I doubt I've even actually claimed our GMP.
Sometimes when I'm traveling to Canada, I need that internet stuff.
Well, if when you need internet stuff, just come over to Danny and Dave's Internet Stuff Emporium. We have the best internet stuff, from them domainy names to your hosty. We got all the internety stuff. Need a wordy press? We can do that too.
On the way home from the pub
Wording
last
press.
night, I got some internet stuff on my shoe.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. I start the day with that asshole and I finish with internet stuff. That's why I get paid the big bucks.
Seems like a typical Friday for you, doesn't it?
Yep. Except we didn't talk about hockey, but we usually keep that off there.
I thought hockey season was over already.
It is never over. We're Canadian. God damn you.
Canada.
Never over up here.
And a few of us in Dallas.
But they do have hockey year round here, and it's like 100-something degrees. Why?
It's called water polo now. It's not hockey.
Yeah.
Better yet, Rocket League 10th anniversary, for that matter.
Well, there's news. Let's go on to gaming.
Shouldn't you be playing Fortnite right now, Steve?
Do what?
No.
Fortnite?
Yes.
It's I've got like a level and a quarter left to go until I'm a Rocketeer, which is like 70 in Rocket League. So I kind of want to get there. Fortnite, I've been like, I can go in and get a victory royale all the time. It's kind of boring.
We're
now.
still live, aren't we, Dave? Yes, we are.
Oh.
Watching this.
Gamers. Anyways.
Yeah, well.
Just a heads up.
Well, it's just what we do. Well, hell, Steve used to have a gaming site even. Come on, there's like the other Steve. Like there's gaming everywhere in here. I Terry, do you remember when like fucking Angry Birds was a thing or whatever, and Steve would be looking down the whole show?
Spend
Be like, Steve, what are you doing? What?
Nothing.
Yeah. Geeks are geeks. That's what we say. That's what we do. But yeah, okay, speaking of which, since we really are fucking long in the tooth here, we'll just call this a day here. It's 2:03 so Eastern. We're 3 minutes past the hour. All right, folks, thanks for dropping in. Those of you watching, those of you sitting here. Anybody still wants to talk bullshit with us, there is green room links on the event page in the Facebook group and elsewhere, so feel free to come in afterwards. We do sit around here and talk crap for another hour or so. And the way this week's going, oh, believe me, it's going to be crap. All right, guys. See you next week.